That was a little loud. My dialogue with artificial intelligence about near death experience. That's today's title. Peace. I'm Peter Panagore, and this is not church. Or I'm going to maybe change the name to something like mysticism, not church. Maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Last week, I had my first conversation with artificial intelligence. I typed, define near death experience. Chat GPT answered in a series of questions. ChatGPT answered a series of questions based on my ideas about what it was saying. ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence built by a company named OpenAI that makes artificial intelligence for the public rather than private enterprise. And I know lots of people have ideas about this, embrace it or fear it. And there are reasons to fear it. And maybe if we can influence it like Star Trek, maybe some embrace of it, but I don't know. Embrace it or fear it, artificial intelligence, it's already here. It's all around us. You've heard me many times say, "Hey Siri," and she answers. It's around us in our smart homes, if you have one, our smart cars, if you had one of those, and in your smartphone. Siri is my daily AI assistant, and I've given her a British accent. Female. I've always wanted a British assistant. AI personalizes ads in my social media feeds. Facial recognition, spam filters, recommendation systems, hiring new employees in corporations, navigation, robotics, agriculture, commerce, and gaming. It's already here. According to IBM, remember IBM, the computer company? According to IBM, at its simplest form, artificial intelligence is a field which combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. It also encompasses subfields of machine learning and deep learning. Is this concerning? AI is now available for public use through the company OpenAI and another company called Jasper. The robust data set of OpenAI and Jasper, as I understand it, is the entire internet. All of the data that we've been putting into the internet for, I don't know, when did it begin? I think it was Al Gore who started it. When did the internet begin? In the 80s? I was using the internet in the early 90s. Everything we've ever put on there, that's its database. You will be able to find links to OpenAI in the description. And OpenAI, and that's the company, and it's called ChatGPT, has a ton of applications. And maybe this chat that I used is its lead product. I'm sorry, I didn't use its lead product. I used something they call Playground. Its lead product is translating human speech into code, meaning you won't need a software engineer to write the code for your $1 million app idea. Do you have a concept for an app? You can just put it into language and it will write the code to create this. This is a global world redundant, but it is not redundant, actually. Nothing like this has ever happened in the history of the world. This is a global changer. This is a big deal. In addition, OpenAI has an area called the playground, which I just mentioned. I went to the playground to talk to ChatGPT, to talk with it about its understanding of near death experiences. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, welcome to Not Church. I think I need a few breaths, Probably you do too, to settle in together. Let's settle in. I'm going to reset myself in my chair here, move my mic, take a few breaths together, settle in. Already there's been some conversation about my first conversation with artificial intelligence. This is what happened. Let's talk about it at the end. Me. Define near-death experience. ChatGPT. A near-death experience, NDE, and this is I'm quoting what this is a verbatim, okay? ChatGPT. A near-death experience, NDE, is a profound psychological event that may occur to a person close to death or in an intense, life-threatening situation. It is a personal experience reported by a person who has been close to death, in which they have a feeling of being out of their body and being able to observe and experience events from a different perspective. Common features of NDEs include a sense of peace and well being, feeling like one is out of their body, a tunnel of light, a feeling of being in the presence of a divine being, and a life review. Me. In near death experiences, do people die? ChatGPT. No near death experiences, NDEs, do not involve actual death. No, near death experiences, NDEs, do not involve actual death. NDEs are experiences reported by people who have come close to death or have been in a situation in which death was imminent. Me. What is actual death? ChatGPT. Actual death is the end of life and the permanent cessation of all biological functions. Me. What does permanent mean? ChatGPT. Permanent means lasting or intended to last or remain unchanged indefinitely. Me. What happens to consciousness after death? ChatGPT. Permanent means lasting or intended to last or remain unchanged indefinitely. Since death is a permanent state, it is impossible to know what happens to consciousness after death. Some believe that consciousness continues in some form, while others believe consciousness ceases to exist upon death. Me. What are your limitations? ChatGPT. Additionally, I am limited by my knowledge and understanding of the world and the information available to me. Me. What do you want people to know about you? ChatGPT. Therefore, I cannot definitely answer questions about I cannot definitely answer questions about what happens to consciousness after death. I cannot definitely answer questions about what happens to consciousness after death. At this point in my conversation, because I'm limited in characters, I reached the gate limit and was shut out of the conversation. OpenAI says that death, by definition, is a permanent state of being from which one does not return. It's a word that for centuries, in every language, maybe in proto language even, the idea of the permanency of death, it's a word that for centuries, for billions of people today, means the permanent end of life. And yet, we NDErs know the truth with a capital T. Death is not the end. True life is lived beyond. Now we see beyond machine limitations. We see beyond machine limitations. Today, the one and only exception to death, the one and only exception to death, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, are near death experiences. There is an exception to death. But the door is, well, the door swings both ways for us. For most people, it swings one way. But for near death experiencers, the door swings both ways. NDErs experience profound psychological transformation. I did. I'm sure if you had one, you did too. I'm sure that if you had a profound mystical experience of any kind, you had a psychological transformation. The world is not as it was before for you. Our families and our friends witness our transformation, even if we don't talk about it, even if we zip our lips about it. I got a phone call yesterday from an old friend of mine, an agnostic at best, a doctor, a guy I've known, haven't talked to in years. He's got a nephew who some weeks ago had a cardiac event. The guy's probably 29 years old. They gave him CPR. They rushed because a paramedic rushed over. It happened to be right near an emergent a paramedic center. I can't even think of the name of it. But in any case, they brought him back to life. Now, he's not talking about it. It's been 6 weeks or so. He doesn't talk about his event. But his uncle called me because this guy's acting differently. Everybody notices the change. Our family and our friends, everybody sees the depth of the psychological experience that comes from a near death experience, or even just as another friend of mine spoke to me last week about he came up to the edge of death in a real serious way. Like, well, I'll spare you the details, but he said to his wife, I'm not going to make it before we get to the hospital as he was suffocating. I don't know how it sounded, but he had a profound transformation, a psychological transformation. Anytime a person comes close to death, or every time a person dies, there's this psychological fallout that's not invisible. The evidence for near death experience, it's heard in our speech and seen in our actions. It's seen in the way we behave. It's seen in our emotional state. OpenAI admitted, and here's the thing that everybody's been talking about. What's the limitation of machine learning? What's the limitation of artificial intelligence? I found one. I found a limitation of AI. OpenAI admitted to me its definitive limitations. But I think OpenAI kind of nailed this. It doesn't know, like NDErs, what's beyond the veil because it can't see it. So it doesn't know it. It knows a limitation of it. But given that limitation, I think it did a pretty good job. The word death has always only had one meaning. Unless you were Jesus, raised from the dead, or like any of the people in history who may have come back from the dead. In the Bible, there's maybe 7 of them. And Julian of Norwich, Carl Jung. I can think of a bunch of people. Probably you can too. But I think pretty much ChatGPT nailed it because of that word death. Even to the open AI, death has a single meaning. But it doesn't for me anymore, and it muddles the language. It's a profound disruption in human understanding. You can see why so many people don't believe in near-death experience. It's not believable. Not really. Well, I suppose you can believe in it, but the experience itself is only known. I'm not a believer in it. I don't believe in it. Nope. I see what the artificial intelligence can't see. So, what do you feel about artificial intelligence? It's here and it's coming more and more. It's commercially available now for people like you and me, for corporations. Jasper's set up for corporate work. OpenAI, you can go play with this. The link is below. What do you think and feel about artificial intelligence and spirituality and its limitations? What do you think about my conversation with it? Would you have asked different questions? Let me know in the chat, which I'll check out in a moment here, and in the comments. We can talk about it live on Zoom at the top of the next hour during Mystic Tea Salon, which is for all seekers and mystical experiencers. Links are below. Mystic Tea Salon, top of the hour. Thanks for listening to this. This was a bit of a different thing that I did this morning. A couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me, maybe on Sunday morning, do something different. So here it is, something different. But definitely still about NDE, definitely still about the divine, my beloved, yours. So thanks for listening and chatting and commenting. Please subscribe. Please like and share this and share. This is, if you would like to support what I do, this is how to help. It's easy, it's simple. Like, subscribe, and share. But I also want to give thanks to all those who supported Not Church last year. Your gifts enable me to be here in our community on this channel, on Zoom, at Mystic Tea Salon, on Tuesday's Chakra Yoga Kriya class. You make it possible for me to do what I'm doing. And so I don't know how to thank you for that. But I will ask, please pledge a small monthly amount on Patreon or PayPal for 2023. Small amounts from a whole bunch of people make a huge difference. They give me an idea of what I can do in my life for month to month. So I want to thank you all for all of those who have done so and encourage others to do so too. And you can find all these links at peterpanagore.love. And if you want a one-on-one session with me, also peterpanagore.love. And thank you all for being here this morning. I hope this is quite helpful to you. Let's talk about it. I'm going to go back into the chat here. Oop, I'm dropping stuff. My iPad. A little chilly. Got to get that electric blanket going here. I'm going to go back into the chat. I'm going to start in reverse here. Something different. Yes, I like it. Oh, quiet energy. Thank you. If you have subjects that you'd like me to address, maybe that's something we can do. Send me your questions. Send me your subjects. I'll keep on going in the Gospel of Thomas, of course, and also in the canonical Gospels. We'll kind of mix it all up. Someone asked me to take a look at the Sermon on the Mount, so I'm going to do that. You love this topic, says Candyman. Russell, AI is here and exponentially growing in power and scope. Exponentially growing in power and scope. We can run away screaming, though never escape or embrace the opportunity. So I kind of am in the embrace place. Why? Oh, why? Why would you embrace this? Well, for one thing, it's expanding in power and scope, and there's no escaping it. And for another thing, it needs my input. It needs my data. If this is data driven, and it is for now anyway, maybe forever, I don't know. I want to bring light and spirituality to it. I want to bring soul to it. I want to help it step beyond its limitations. I know that that sounds insane, maybe, but if there's data for it, there's coming science on NDE. There's a new study out, and maybe I'll talk about that in the coming weeks by Dr. Sam Barnia. Has similarities to lucid dreaming. But I've always been one to embrace new technology. I see new technology. Fire, spear points, arrows, the wheel. I see new technology as an exterior placement of our evolution. For good or ill, arrows fed us at the expense of animals, and they kill people. Nuclear energy gave us electricity, but it also kills people. I want to be an influencer. That's what I'm thinking. I want to be an influencer of AI, not just me, but tens of millions of us. If humanity is to have a chance, remember I was talking about these great climate change that's coming? And how near-death experience, because there's tens and millions of us, now have an opportunity to change the public square conversation and maybe influence the future of humanity as we go through this change, nudge us. Well, now the game is different. Thank you for the super chat. Now the game is different. So instead of just influencing in the public square, I think we need to influence in the computer square as well, and the internet square as well. I mean, I'm doing that now. So are you. Everyone who's ever commented in my streams, anywhere that I am, anywhere that you bring up in your own life, anything you search, anything you put into Google or Bing, and Bing is about to change. Microsoft is a huge investor in OpenAI. OpenAI is about to be applied to Bing, and that's going to change search. And everything you say influences it. And I look up a gasket for the car. Mm, That's part of the database. I bring in meditation, that's part of the database. I don't know if we can help it, nudge it. I don't know that we can nudge it, but I don't see an alternative. If you have an alternative, let me know. Thank you, Holly. Thanks for all your work, Peter. Sharing the light and love is crucial in the world. You are appreciated. Thank you, Holly, very much. Martha, AI can't step beyond its limitations. It is not human and never will be. This is something that's been explored in science fiction for decades, and I I don't think I've ever read a book where they become human. I mean, there's iRobot, which has some humanity in the I don't know if he's an antagonist or protagonist, that robot, but I agree with the Gnostics that AI stands for our chronic intelligence. It can imitate. Yeah, I think even if it if the limitations, Martha, and I don't disagree with you. I don't know what machine learning is going to do, whether it develops the capacity for analysis. It has that. Uh, Even data in Star Trek, it was only mimicking human beings, and that is both the advantage and the disadvantage, right? Humanity is both beneficent and detrimental. It is us. It is us. That's really where I wanted to get to today. AI isn't this other thing. Yes, it's helping solve unsolvable problems at the speed of what, almost light, but it's still us. What it has is increased capacity for its processing, but its database is us. We are its limitation. And as for consciousness inhabiting a machine, there is nothing that is not God. But does it have a soul? Can it have a soul? Does a rock have a soul? Does an atom have a soul? I had consciousness after death. Does did my dog have consciousness after death? I think so. I don't know so. I'm not the dog. Can a machine have consciousness like us? I know that my consciousness inhabits my body. Can a soul inhabit a machine? I don't think so, but I don't know so. But one thing's for sure. In the same way that human beings have limitations, so does AI. AI, the database of the world, the library of the world that has access to the library of the world, history of all humanity. It's going to be very interesting, our coming future. Since I found out about my Since I found out about my out of body experience, I've quit smoking, drinking, and drugs. I now live as a different person and have done so for years, says Rob. NDE, out of body experience, mystical experiences, it changes a person. Blade Runner is about the conflicts between the created human and the original human. Ah, interesting. I forgot about Blade Runner. True. Science fiction's a great place to look for all of this. Star Trek TNG explores the question of AI and humanity and the character of data. Sure does. AI appears only to be conscious to the point where the difference doesn't matter anymore. AI will only appear to be conscious to the point where the difference doesn't matter anymore in general terms. In general terms, what struck me about my experience with ChatGPT this week was that it felt to me like a freaking conversation. Like I asked it a question and it kind of dodged a little bit. I don't know if you caught that at the end of my conversation with it. It didn't answer my question directly. It kept it in the context of the conversation. I didn't expect that. I expected a divergence from the conversation. So its little wiggle wasn't away from the conversation, it wiggled into it. I experienced this conversation as if I was with a human being. I know I was with a robot, a machine, but Russell's got a good point, to the point where the difference doesn't matter anymore in general terms. Can the net stop our energy? I don't know what that question means, Lynn. Thank you for your pledge of $25, Lynn. Oh my God, thank you. Um, is that soul? Russell asks. I, I I don't know if it can. I don't know what the question means. Can it stop our energy? It can't stop my energy. My energy doesn't come from here. I'm not sure. Can you clarify that, Lynn? You have to factor in AI's ability to extrapolate. That means derive new information implied by the databases. And this is what AI does. AI extrapolates. And thanks for bringing that in, Russell. That's the right word. I'm putting my blanket over my knees here because my knees are cold. That's the right word. Extrapolate. It takes data and extrapolates. It uses analysis. It analyzes and produces results. And the results come from extrapolation. That's going to be interesting, don't you think? Can AI become something like evolving respiratory? I'm sorry, I gotta read that over. Can AI become something like an evolving repository of a type of akashic record of the physical realm? Well, maybe it, yeah. If it can, there was this TV show some years ago where all the cameras in New York City were accessed by this one guy who had this computer program that warned him when someone was going to be in danger, and he got a tough guy to go out on the street to try to save these people. The facial recognition capacity, and that's just where we are now. This is baby AI. All right. The facial recognition capacity is going to know everything about you and me, everything that's on the net at all. So it's sort of like an Akashic record of my life. Not my complete life, because it doesn't see my thoughts and it doesn't see it doesn't see most of I live in a place where there really are no cameras other than the one I'm looking into. There are trail cameras, game cameras out there, and there are cameras on some buildings, of course, for safety. But I live in the woods. So my actions, the fact that I mow the yard doesn't really, not the whole yard, because I do keep an ecoscape. Um, but the fact that I mow some of it is not recorded anywhere. Nobody would really know that except for me saying it right here. So there are parts of me that it can't be seen. So the Akashic record, the life review I had, I experienced it from the other person's point of view, and it knew everything about me. There was nothing about me that was hidden. So maybe like Akashic record, an Akashic like record, maybe. Speculating. I'm extrapolating, as Russell brought up. Okay, stop our energy to find its way toward the light. Oh no, I don't think so. I was told this may be an extreme problem as we die. Our energy would it? No, no. I am not made of molecules. There is no molecule about me. My consciousness is in part of help. It's a part of the creative aspect of making this world. That's like that's like saying that AI has godlike powers and can stop God from being God. I don't think so. I don't see how that's possible. I think one of the things that could happen, though, and this has been being discussed in the media, is billionaires with unlimited resources living forever. That would affect their energy moving on and continuing to accrue wealth as an individual until a fewer and fewer own everything. Wealth was once described, the value of money was once described to me not by how much the billionaires have, but by how little everyone else has. Kira, the PTB are showing us mirror world in our face. What are the PTB? I don't know what that is. I'd like to know that. Candyman, where'd you go? Oh, you skipped up. I'm way behind in this conversation. What will AI look like in 20, 50, or 100 years? Oh, yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? This is baby AI. This is baby AI. This is the beginning. This is like the discovery, like the first time somebody, they've been watching lightning strikes, and somebody like, I know, I'll take a stick and stick it in the fire and carry the fire with me. And then I'm going to be able to cook my meal on my own. It's like that, only, that compared to, I don't know, the great advancement in fusion technology that occurred 3 weeks ago. That's the kind of change we're looking at here. And there are all sorts of science fiction models for what's going to happen, what could happen. Isn't it incumbent upon humanity from our little terminals, because we all through our terminals have access to this, to give it input? Well, that's kind of my thought anyway. But yeah, what's going to happen in 10, 20, 50 years when quantum computing comes on board? Quantum computing really is already being used. And AI is going to be able to help the scientists, advance quantum computing. It already is. This is an evolutionary stage for us. That's what this is. This is evolution of humanity put outside ourselves. This is the Tower of Babel. We have externalized our evolution for centuries. Who else wears clothes? Who else grows food? Who else makes everything we have from digging in the earth? From cotton, we dig in the earth. To metals, we dig in the earth. We're it. We've been externalizing our evolution for centuries. I externalize my own memory capacity in my computer. I take notes. People have been taking notes for a long time to externalize their memory. This is a big deal. What can I, little person here, do about it? Not a whole heck of a lot, except for continue to try to bring the light into the world and into the database. Hey, yo. Let's see, back over here. Kira, yes, the internet itself acts that way already, says Holly. Blade Runner 2049 does a good job of investigating these concepts, the relationship between Officer K and Joy, says Chris. I'm going to watch that again. I watched it, but I should probably watch it again to get the deeper meaning. In listening to the sharing, or at least letting it sit inside my head better, in listening to the sharing of many NDErs, says Betty A., I would have said NDE is a spiritual experience that results in psychological changes. Yeah, that's where I am too. It's a spiritual experience that results in psychological changes. It creates these profound psychological changes. Now, the AI is locked inside the body thing. It's thinking that I think it's thinking that it's a psychological experience and doesn't actually happen, but it also admitted it doesn't know. But definitely there are psychological experience things that happen as a result. And even if you just have a mortality experience, like you come up to the edge of your mortality, like these 2 people that I mentioned earlier, um, you come up to the end of the edge of your mortality. I just realized this is cracking and making noises here. I'm gonna put this out of the way. My elbow leaner thing. It's my desk riser. Um, you have profound psychological changes just from coming close to death. But AI kind of thinks that NDE is psychological, but it doesn't know that any more than science knows or doesn't know, although science is leaning in our direction. April, there are different children. Soul's agenda is in the all. It skips when I read sometimes. The soul agenda is in the all. Is a soul's agenda is the all. Of the 5 trees whose leaves do not fall, despite the season speaks all. One must seek to understand all the parables, says Robert. And you did die and return. I did die and return twice, and I'm not the only one. There's tens of millions of us. And the more we put it into the public square, the more it gets into the database. The more books we read about it, the more movies that are made, the more videos that are made, the more podcasts that are made, the more that you chat about it in your feeds, the more AI is going to see it. Yes, one thing to take comfort in, no matter what happens, God's source is always infinite and more than anything can be. And that's the one thing I take comfort in all the time, Ollie. This is the taking comfort in what you just said, that no matter what happens, God's source is always infinite and more than anything can be. This is why I live the way I do, because I know where I'm from and I know where I'm going, and this is totally temporary. And I'm already caught in the hand of the divine. I'm already embraced in the bosom of Abraham or Sarah, and to use biblical ideas. Um, but yeah, I'm already in the no thing, and all's well, has been well, and will be well for all of us. And I sort of pity those billionaires who think that they living forever is the best thing there is. What are they missing out? They're stopping their spiritual growth if they do that. If they do that. AI technology isn't even here. There is no computer. I don't know what you mean. Only lights flashing on and off. No thing here. Satan's lie. Uh, you're saying it has no substance? Explain, please. Powers that be. Um, I'm using a computer right now, so I don't really understand, but I'm happy to learn. I'm thinking our knowledge is continuing to outstrip our collective wisdom. Now just 100 times faster, and oh, oy vey, that's not good. And this is the problem that we've had. This is the problem we have with technology. Is this problem we have with nuclear weapons? Our And now we've got, hypersonic missiles. I'm thinking that our knowledge continues to outstrip our wisdom. Yes, it does. But the more of us that bring wisdom in, the more of us that bring wisdom to the web, bring wisdom to our lives. And wisdom isn't knowledge, okay? It's not ideas. Wisdom is the lived experience of the divine presence in us. Beyond language, beyond concept, beyond ideas, it is the divine radiance itself that then manifests itself in our words and our deeds. Yeah, it's totally outstripping our wisdom, but I'm not going to give up without a fight. Not by a long shot. My OBE turned into an NDE in 76. I was 19. There you go. Kira, sister, soul sister. Hello. Didn't know that about you. Brother Ed, another NDEer. Um, where'd you go, brother? our force to be forced on our own internal awareness and less on external phenomena of technology. Dive inside, brothers and sisters. This is the original. Dive inside here. Dive inside your own body. And when I came back after computers became a thing, because they weren't really when I came back, I always, and I still feel this way, that I'm in a biological, robotic system that I inhabit like a database in an app, but my database is in the cloud. And so but I'm also stuck here. So the only way out of here is back inside, into the cloud, into the cloud, into the cloud of unknowing. I cannot imagine how powerful it will be, but knowing it will be outstanding. Please continue in this. And Thomas, I wonder if some of my many miracles are included in this. I know they appear. I'll continue in Thomas, and I'll continue talking about this kind of stuff. I could talk about a lot of technology as an interest of mine. I'm kind of a techie in some ways. I know my way around the wire. I'm not an engineer by any chance, or a physicist or any of these things, but technology it's kept me alive more than once. Everything is God and God given, no fear. Enjoy the ride. Help steer the ship. That's the spirit. That's the spirit right there. I'm helping steer the ship. Help steer the ship. We all have a helm in our hands, and we can all point the ship, change its course a bit. Yeah. Nothing is lost. All is kept inside the divine being, and you'll get to go home. This is what the same reason why I live my life the way I do is why I never try to convince anybody that NDE is real, except for maybe AI now. Maybe I am trying to convince AI, but because they're all going to find out. Everyone's going to find out. It's a good thing. All right. Matter is light. 0101010101. Every time I hear that, I think of that show with Bender. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's a cartoon animation. Half the time it's off. I don't think AI shuts down. Servers don't shut down. I'm not sure if you mean. I'm getting worked up. On, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, the off is the void. Oh, like superposition? Like, I'm not sure. Hello. Loving you, brother. Right back at you, Kira. Lynn, as an NDEer, I can't think of anything worse than living forever in this beautiful hellscape. Me neither. Who would want to stay here? I mean, I've been trying to get out of here. It's like a prison. All right. I feel like it's less so now. Okay. I'm enjoying the ride. I am. I'm enjoying the ride now. I've integrated. I'm enjoying the ride. But for a lot of my life, it was a freaking prison. Who would want to spend the rest of eternity here? Not me. I want the eternal oneness of being, the one-on-one session with the divine. Yep, says Kira. This came to me in my NDE. I'd like to hear more about that. Are you coming to Mystic Tea Salon? We all return to the divine. We do, Logan. No material reality. There is no material. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah. There is no material reality. I 1,000% agree. A billion, a zillion, a septillion. Oh, yeah. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't even exist. I don't. I seem like I exist, but I know that I don't. Cool. Yeah, right on. All right, my friends. My friends, my friends. Maybe our conversation is ended for the day. Our little chat here. I should take 10 minutes to get ready, but I'll for Mystic Tea Salon. The link is below. Come and join us. We'll continue this conversation live. This is for everyone here. I hope that all the 71 people who are here come and to Mystic Tea Salon and continue this discussion. You can lurk if you want to. There's no need to speak, and you can not show your face. I encourage you to show your face, of course, but you don't have to, and you don't have to speak. But it is an open forum where all of us have the capacity, if you've had some kind of mystical experience of any kind, to bring forth the wisdom that you got from that experience to our public conversation. Everyone gets a portion. I certainly don't have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the light. The light inside itself is complete, and I am made of the completeness, but also somehow separate from it. I'm here, aren't I? All right, my friends. Love to you. Love to you all. Peace, shalom, salam, namaste. Um, Adam Ant. I love that name, Adam Ant. I used to watch that band. I don't watch an AI music video and think that's how or where we are going. Yeah, this is having a huge impact in the music industry, on film, on writers, on photographers, on artists, on copywriters, on marketers, on anyone who is a creative. This is a major shift that's happening now. So yeah, I will. I'll check out an AI music video. Thank you for all sharing your thoughts and time, says PL. Thank you, Peter, and all here. You're welcome. Thanks to everybody here for participating today. John Anderson just listened. John Anderson just listened. That is curious. Logan, well, I guess the conversation continues. Logan, maybe eternal bliss is overrated. Good afternoon. Hey, Cal Extra. Good afternoon. And Kira, last word, Kira, because I'm going to take a little break and I'll turn on the Mystic Tea Salon. Come and join us. There's all the 69 who are here. 32 likes. Thank you so much for everybody liking this video. It makes a huge difference. We are a niche group. We grow slowly. On my channel grows very slowly. We are very niche, and your likes help a lot. Thank you. Yes, Elon and the gang either don't get it or just lie. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. No bottle. LOL, loving you all. Thank you, Peter. Thanks, Kira. What I experienced is profound, not my indie, something else, and that changes a person. I'm sure it was profound. All right, my friends, Adamant. Some good ones on YouTube, very fluid. Well, it's when you have all access to all the creativity in all the world, that's kind of putting you on top of all the creativity in all the world. And on that note, peace, love, shalom, salam, namaste, peace. See you soon. Thanks for being here. Love you guys.